where are we up to? I want to catch you up because it has been a hell of a ride so far. We have done so much. I am absolutely exhausted. I feel run down. You can probably hear I've got a bit of a nasally voice because I've got a blocked nose, but it's been a big odd mix of basically being ill and then also getting hay fever and then also the dust. So I'm just completely screwed over basically. I've been run down from being so tired. We've been doing work every day and then coming to the house in the evenings, doing running work and then doing it all again the next day, and also on the weekends all day long at the house, which is great. I'm happy with the progress, not complaining at all because absolutely loving every single stage. But yeah, it's a lot. So today we are in, you probably can't guess because I'm in the corner, but we're in the bedroom, the main bedroom. And I always wanted to panel the back wall, so I have given it a crack. Now, disclaimer, as much as you measure and as much as you think the wall is straight, the wall was never straight. Ours is a 1950s house, and even though we had it dot and dabbed on that wall and plasterboarded and then plastered, still not straight. You can tell because the top of the where I've painted the wall, it looks kind of curved, so it's been a bit of a nightmare. So I've measured many times, I planned the whole thing out, I went to B&Q and I got the MDF cut, and to be honest with you, it got to a point where we were in the shop and we just thought, we have some tools at home, so if you just cut all the strips into 10 centimetres, then that will suffice, and we can then cut the rest down to size at home. So that's what we did, and it didn't end up the way we thought it would, so
So this is probably the worst diagram ever, but I had to whip it up because I had accidentally chucked the one I had originally done, which was a lot neater and evenly spaced out. So don't mind the diagram, but to give you an idea of how to work this out, the very bottom panel is the skirting board and the one above it is a piece of MDF but split into two, same as with the top, and the two end pieces are just straight from the skirting up to the ceiling. So I had used altogether 6 pieces of MDF to create the frame around the outside. I found it easier to do it like this rather than just doing the same lengths all the way across and then little squares in between, because it was less little squares to do. Also, just to build the frame gives you, I guess, a better starting point. So that's the skirting board, the 4 pieces, so 2 top and bottom, and also 1 singular piece either side. And then I had, 5 pieces of lengths, which were obviously minusing the 10 centimetres of MDF either side. So it was 20 centimetres less than the 2 end pieces. So 5 lots of those going across. And then I had 18 pieces of smaller MDF, which were going to create these squares. I think each of these were 46 centimetres. Each section going upwards, each square going upwards was 48.5, I think. So not quite a square, but looks like a square from a distance, I guess. Obviously, your measurements will be completely different. I actually had to improvise at one point because the walls are so wonky. So the top right hand half of length piece for the top, basically, if that makes sense, that piece didn't fit, so we had to use some leftover smaller pieces to create that part, which is a lot easier because then you can kind of fit it to size. Obviously your wall is going to be a different shape and size, so if you're doing it, just follow this.
I can't go any further now. We have run out of no more nails, and it's a bank holiday and it's a Sunday, so I'm going to have to wait until tomorrow to get some more glue. Also run out of decorated cork, and haven't also got the primer for the MDF that I thought we'd put in the car. So basically we have no materials or anything to start or continue the work. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm going to do something else in the house. Sorry, so thirsty. So, as our walls are so wonky, I've had to try and keep the wood, the MDF level, but then cork and like fill the holes. So hopefully it's got a good finish. I have run out of glue so that I actually have to come back to the square, like finishing off the squares. I'll show you in a second. But at the moment, all I've got is the 7 lengths and the 2 top and bottom. Sorry, I'm so nasally. Right. So this is what we're working with. I have gone through and polyfilled in between the wood and corked along the top. We'll do all the other corking later. I think I'm just going to wait until these squares across have gone in. So I'm doing 3 stripes across, which will give us 4 squares down. So it's 4 squares down and 6 across. So yeah, looking forward to it. Just can't wait to get it finished and see what it looks like. And obviously get it painted. I think I'm going to run out of paint because I don't know if I've got much butterscotch left, but it's okay, we can get some more. Oh my god, I sound so nasally. I literally can't breathe because I've got really bad hay fever.
So guys, this bit was very difficult because the wall, as I said, was wonky and not straight at all. So we had to, where we had originally cut all the size, the 18 small sections of MDF to a 48.5 centimetres. We then had to go through and one by one check that they fit and recut them or sand them down to make sure that they were snug in the section. A lot of them needed cutting down smaller, some of them needed a bit added on. Luckily we had a bit of spare MDF, so we were able to cut the right size for the ones that were missing a few centimetres. So this is where we got to by the end of day 2. Actually, we only did less than 2 hours of work before we went to Harry Potter World. So yeah, we weren't able to get much done, but we had to leave the last 2 sections of squares because the electrician is yet to put the light switch on that back wall. We are having a light switch so that we can turn off the light when we're in bed without having to get up. Quite a good idea. But not able to put the last few bits of MDF on because we're waiting for the light switch to be installed. And then we want to make sure that the last piece is level with the piece that's missing. So we are going to do this at a later date.
Left to put in, waiting for the electrician to come in and fit the light switch. I was thinking about or toying with the idea of doing it without it being in there, just measuring 9 by 9 square, but I really don't want to get it wrong and I'd rather just wait, which is annoying because it means I have to wait to upload the video, but it's looking good so far. This is the first coat of paint. I am going to go on and do another one, so just about to do coat 2. But yeah, pretty pleased so far.
a few things that I'd learned from this project. So number one, I would, instead of, because I'd actually done like 2 coats on the wall before I had started the project, I would, if I could do it again, I probably wouldn't do that. I would just leave it blank, paint it at the end. Because I was doing squares, the spaces are a lot smaller, so I basically just wasted a load of paint because I had to buy another pot. So that's one thing I would say. Wait and paint at the end. I would definitely prime all the bits of wood. Well, if you're not going to paint until the end, then you can prime them when they're on the wall. But if you're going to paint first, I would definitely prime them and let them dry and then put them on the wall. Because the white primer goes everywhere, and if your colour is a different colour, you're basically wasting paint because you have to do a lot more of your normal coat. So, what else would I recommend? Well, we had recently had that wall plastered. It was actually dot and dabbed with plasterboards and then plastered. So my plasterer told me that I probably shouldn't have nailed into the plaster because it's only, plasterboard behind there. So apparently you're meant to use some sort of screw or like no more nails would have been fine. But because the MDF is so thick, I was worried that the top ones were going to fall down because I couldn't hold my arms up there just waiting for it to dry. So I had to use the nails. So no regrets. YOLO. And the last thing that I would probably say is that when you go to B&Q or wherever you're going to get your MDF cut, like personally, if I could go back, I would just have all of the pieces cut at 10 centimeters thick, and then I would just cut the rest at home because of the wall being so out and so wonky and all different shapes and sizes and whatever. It was just easier if I had just cut it all at home. We have a rotary. Is it a rotary saw? I think it's a rotary saw. We have one of those at home, so it would have been no problem and probably would have been easier and saved a bit of MDF. But yeah, I think in the end we actually used 2 sheets of MDF, and I will pop the measurements on, or like the calculations on the screen now. Thanks for watching the video, hope you enjoyed it.